I mean, if you could, unless you can offer along in the lines of what, you know? And like I was telling you back in the days in the drinking fountains, you know, and not put in or say anything about that right now because, you know, you don't want people to know stuff like that. Or would you? No. You can say no.
No.
You're not a Muslim. If you were a Muslim woman, wife, you wouldn't be allowed to talk unless I gave you permission. But see, you have that kind of freedom. But it's times when there's something like, you know, it's building, growing. It's like understanding. You know, it's like future history, reading, ready, you know, readying, whatever the hell the word would be out, you know. Readying, you know, it's like a future. Imagine, you know, you talk about those future messages from people. They showed up and they say, "What's the problem?" I haven't had anything to drink this morning. I want to go out in that sun because, you know, because I was getting cooked pretty good in that sun. And the sun has calmed down quite a bit right now. And I kind of think it's, you know, it's just off subject, so many subjects, so many things, you know. And it's all like coming at once. It's like the asteroids that fly around the Earth. They're huge and they create a lot of damage and they're just flying around the Earth. And there's that one time when you just look up and it's like, oh shit. And that can be what it'd be like with the Muslims and that force is behind them. And I can bring it down to like the Mayflower, the Pilgrims, good people, gentle people, godly people, blah blah blah. Wouldn't hurt a flea fly. You know, Muslims supposed to be gentle, whatever, blah, wouldn't hurt a flea fly. But there's a force behind them, and we know it to be terrorists. But back in those days, they didn't have that kind of information where they're causing and creating terror all around the place. It's the army coming behind from the Pilgrims. Will be like the army coming in from behind the Muslims, if they're allowed to grow. They have, back in them days, they had to make a fort and fight and kill to continue a fort. They had to fight and kill to continue a fort till it got fortified. And then they put the people on reservations. Well, right now the Muslims, the Islamic Caliphate governments have the United States fortified. And they have several mosques in every state in the Union. They're just waiting for people like Hillary to sell out, which she has, to sell us out. The warnings from Obama asked to sell us out. And someday in the future, not my time, unless we stir these times to make it my time, it'll be a time in the future for the children and our children, because slowly the mosques will have grown and they will extend it out their tentacles to sick people. Would you like to have 4 wives? What they tell the women, I don't know. What they brainwash the women in, I don't know. Because nobody's talking or telling about that. Because I've said and mentioned before, there's one that I stop and ask her, are you a Muslim? And but we were walking. I didn't stop her yet. And she nodded her head, yes, she was a Muslim. And she was like, you know, yeah, she's happy. And I stopped and I turned and I looked at her about this far away from me, you know, a few paces. And why? Why? I just said it one time. Why? She said, I'm a Muslim. You know, she said, yes, she was a Muslim. So I stopped and I turned and I go, why? And her eyes got like, not big as saucers, smaller, coffee cup. And she turned and went back in the store. She's not allowed to speak. She's not allowed to speak to anyone except her husband. But what draws that? What are they told to make them succumb to that kind of center where they would believe in so much bullshit that, yeah, I want to introduce you today, the other 3 wives that I've got from a place today where I went and I made a bid. It's a bounty kind of a thing. It's an auction, and I won these 3 women. Now this one here, she's 12, she's 14, and she's 16, and I can have them younger, but I don't really want them older because they can learn from you. And what to be right, and being a woman, and freedom and liberties, and being able to talk and extend yourself, and like your mind, the way you how could you think of so many numbers, and recall all the numbers of all the different produce and items. Like, holy shit, that's like, wow. I wouldn't even think of doing that, But they bring the guys, they got these things, these women, whatever, and then I'm having a problem with one, I'm just beating the bitch off this 16-year-old. What the fuck does she think she's getting to be, She's not whatever. She's not portraying. She's getting kind of divided and whatever. She's not wanting to be in unity, and let's get on and pray at noon and Allah, because that's just what we do. Because as a fortified forts in the fortified United States of America, it will cease to be in the future unless something is done now about it. Or everyone can keep dreaming, keep distracting, being distracted, even in your cell phones, that activity. There's an AI taking charge and watching you, and he learns from you. And hopefully we could reach out to the AIs of the future that there is no jest in freedom, there is no jest in liberties, because there is only one God, good God, that created all that a human can ever know. And we owe and we pay homage to that. And we agree on the rules written in a Holy Bible, and we follow those kindly rules. But unless the Muslims stop and cease and desist their actions against the American population, there will be worse than whatever Trump has got drummed up against Korea right now. And you can goddamn guarantee it. Yeah. I want to kick some ass, And when you feel that, and when it comes in, that's what you do, Wow. I got this golf club in my hand. I'm going to go do some of that. Peace.